My name is Ken Foose. I own a place called Exotic Pets in Las Vegas, and I have a master's degree in zoology. The animals, inevitably we have to deal with people too, which is kind of the downside, but it's mostly the animals. I'm a herpetologist by trade, so I deal with reptiles and amphibians an awful lot. In the profession I'm in now, it's matching people up with the right animals. A lot of people come in and want to get something that they're really not qualified or capable of caring for. So the key is to find out about the people and their lifestyle so that you can match the proper animal with the proper people. Herpetology is the study of reptiles and amphibians. Well, I was a kid growing up chasing snakes and lizards in the woods, and I never grew up. Eventually, I wanted to be either a whale biologist or a herpetologist, but I lived in Kansas, and it's hard to keep a whale in a 10-gallon aquarium, so I chose snakes instead.
This is Sean at Exotic Pets. The reason places like this are important is it's a good way for us to reconnect with nature. We live in a big city. We don't get to see a lot of animals all the time. When you come here, you get to see awesome birds like this, lizards, snakes, anything you want.
Normally, get in here bright and early in the morning and do the paperwork. Unfortunately, my business is usually paperwork more than anything else. Depending on whether we get a shipment of animals in or not, I supervise the setup of the animals and set up the dry goods. And we ship out a lot of animals every day and all over the country. So I spend a lot of time boxing up stuff and shipping it out. And that's pretty much it. It's just another day. I love to work with animals that I've never seen before, never worked with before. I like new species when they're discovered, and it's real fun to do something that you've never seen or never done or someone else has never done before. Well, I started out catching snakes and lizards and bugs when I was a kid. The real turning event was in about 1969. I was bitten by a copperhead and didn't know what it was. And so, of course, I just kept going out and playing. By the time I got out of the hospital, I realized that I should know more about these animals so I could figure out how to kill them. So I studied snakes for months and months and months, and then discovered they are the coolest things on the planet. So I started my career then. I bred my first snakes when I was 11. And then, of course, went to high school, went to college, got my degree. Went to work at several zoos, decided that zoo people don't make any money. So I went into the private sector, and here I am. Now I have a pet store. think that our work is important for the community because, first of all, I think people need to associate themselves with animals more. The more we're into the natural world, I think the better off people are. We also, of course, this pandemic showed that we were really needed. Business was booming. We can't keep anything in stock because people are trapped and they wanted a pet in their home. But the most important thing I think that we do is what I call the invisible arc. Anyone who keeps animals, whether they're reptiles and amphibians or birds or fish or whatever, are all part of the invisible arc. And what I mean by that is it's kind of like Noah's Ark. We are keeping animals alive in our homes, in our businesses. This is a genetic stockpile. So if something ever does go wrong, all of us collectively are the invisible arc. And if a species were to be on the verge of extinction, we could go to the private sector and actually find this genetic material to save the species. Other than that, I think we provide a lot of pleasure and a lot of fun. And pet stores, I think, will always be an important part of the community.